Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to learn about integers. In our previous classes, we have already learned set of natural numbers. So natural numbers always start from 1. So 1, 2, 3. So which is the smallest natural number? That is 1. And if we say which is the largest natural number, it is infinite because we don't know. It continues. And when we include 0 in the natural numbers, when 0 is included in the natural numbers, we get a set of whole numbers. So what are whole numbers? Natural numbers along with 0, we get a set of whole numbers. So now when we are talking about, here comes a set of negative numbers. Negative numbers, numbers that have a negative sign in front of that. Now if I see 1, so it has a negative sign. There is 1, this is positive 1 and this is negative 1. So how negative numbers are shown? By showing a negative sign in it. Now if I consider 2, so it is minus 2. Minus 2 is a negative number. Minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Whenever a negative sign is included, it is known as a negative number. So when we are talking about integers, when we are combining a set of negative numbers plus with a set of whole numbers, we get integers. So negative numbers plus whole numbers equal to integers. Now if you want to say, no ma'am, I want to say it's negative numbers plus natural numbers. If you take natural numbers, then 0 you are excluding. So you have to include 0. So it is positive numbers, negative numbers, and when 0 is included, we get integers. Hope it's clear. Now we step on to next is absolute value of an integer. What does absolute value of an integer means? The whole numbers obtained by omitting the positive or negative sign of an integer. So in an integer, we have a set of numbers whose numbers are positive. We have a set of numbers whose numbers are negative. So when I want to find out the absolute value of a number, I have to omit the sign. I will not consider this sign. I will only consider the value. Now suppose, what is the absolute value of, this is the sign which we put for to find out the absolute value. So absolute value of minus 6 is 6. Because we are not considering this negative sign. Now the absolute value of 5 is 5. Absolute value of 0 is 0. So here when we are omitting, when we are not considering the sign, we are only considering the value. So that is the absolute value. Now in the exercise, some sums are given on absolute value. Suppose the absolute value of 4 plus absolute value of 6. So what is the absolute value of 4? It is 4. What is the absolute value of 6? Minus 6? It is 6. So 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. Next comes comparison of integers. Children, now when you this is the number line. This is the number line which has been drawn. Your 0 is in the middle and this side, the right hand side are all the positive numbers and the left hand side are all the negative numbers. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind, as we are going towards the right, the value of a number keeps on increasing. Now, suppose if I consider 1 and 3, which number is greater? 3 is greater. So 3 was on the right hand side. Now if I consider 3 and 6, so which number is greater? 6 is greater because 6 is on the right hand side compared to 3. So as I proceed, as we go towards the right, the value keeps on increasing. And it is just the opposite. If I am going towards the left, the value keeps on reducing. Even if the number is increasing, The absolute number might be increasing, but the value keeps on reducing. Now, if I say minus 1 and minus 4, which number is towards the right? It is minus 1. So, minus 1 is greater than minus 4. Because minus 4 is towards the left, and if the number is towards the left, the value is less. Now, if I consider, suppose I have written minus 20 over here. So, minus 20 and minus 4. So, which is greater? So, you have to see the number which is towards the right. So, minus 20 and minus 4. Which is towards the right? Minus 4 is towards the right. So, minus 4 is greater. So, children, you all should not get confused. Whenever this type of sums are given, suppose arrange in ascending order or arrange in descending order or comparison, you have to just imagine, or if you have problem, you can simply draw a rough number line, and you will see the numbers towards the right. As you go to the numbers towards the right have more value compared to the numbers that are present on the left hand side. Now let us consider a small example. Now suppose 3 and minus 6. 3 and minus 6. Where is 3? Here. 3 is over here. And where is minus 6? Minus 6 is somewhere over here. This is 3 and this is minus 6. So which is number towards the right? It is 3. So the value of 3 is greater. So 3 is greater. Now if I consider the second example, that is 7 and minus 20. So 7 is present this side, suppose 7 towards the right hand side, and minus 20 somewhere this side. So 7 is towards the right, so the value of 7 is greater. Now if I consider minus 20 and minus 40, this is minus 20. And if I consider, suppose minus 40 is somewhere over here. So which number is towards the right? Is it minus 20 or minus 40? So it's minus 20. So right. So minus 20 is greater. And suppose 60 and 80. 60 will be some here. After that comes 80. So which one is towards the right? 80. So 80 is greater. So hope this part is clear. As we go towards the right, the value keeps on increasing. Children, don't consider the absolute value. Here, if I consider the absolute value of 6, minus 6, it is 6. But we are supposed to see the sign also. We will see minus 6 and 3. 3 is positive. So, positive is on the right hand side, negative is on the left hand side. So, positive, the one which is present on the right hand side has a greater value. Now, suppose if I give you, arrange the numbers in ascending order. Ascending order means what? Ascending order means small to big. Now the numbers are minus 5, minus 27, 6 and minus 2. Suppose from here, if I form the number line, I will see that minus 20 is towards the left. Then comes minus 5. Then comes minus 2. Then comes 6. And then comes 7. So here minus 20, minus 5, minus 20 is smaller than minus 5. And minus 5 is smaller than minus 2. Minus 2 is smaller than 6. And 6 is smaller than 7. The same way we can do in descending order also. Descending order means big to small. So from here if I consider, so towards the right is the largest number. So then I will be arranging 7 is greater than 6. 6 is greater than minus 2. Minus 2 is greater than minus 5. Minus 5 is greater than minus 20. So these, I hope integer so far is clear to you. I have only explained you all today what does integer mean. So integer is a combination of negative numbers plus whole numbers. We get integers. And remember children, here the distance between, suppose if you are drawing a number line, the distance from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, that has to be constant. And even on the left hand side, 0 to minus 1, minus 2 to minus 2, minus 1 to minus 2, minus 2 to minus, this distance always remains constant. It does not change. And one more thing is predecessor. Now suppose predecessor means 1 is the predecessor of 2. 2 is the predecessor of 3. So what is the predecessor of 0? It is minus 1. What is the predecessor of minus 1? It is minus 2. What is the predecessor of minus 2? It's minus 3. And if I say successor, I need to move towards the right. Means I need to add plus 1. So when I am adding, I am shifting towards the right. So what is the successor of minus 2? Minus 1. What is the successor of minus 1? 0. Successor of 0? 1. So in this way it continues. And we have learned about the absolute value of an integer. And we have learned about the comparison of integers. So this class of mine will really help you out to solve the first exercise which is given from integers. This is the work. Today you are first going to see whatever problems you faced. If you did not understand any of the topics or any question or anything is not clear, then you are the time which is given to you by Kapali ma'am. We will be online and we will then we can discuss. You can ask me whatever questions, whatever problems you have. During that time you can ask. Okay, bye children.